Hi everybody. In this week's homework, we're going to replicate a real-life client request. And in this case, our client is going to be Twitter. And they want their posts to be limited to 255 characters. So if I go ahead and type in good old KDC Core here and start typing in some things, you can see that it's reading the number of characters left. Okay. So the point is that I'm typing and typing, and yes, spaces count as characters, because we'll still be storing the spaces in our database. But as I get close, you see the functionality here. Now I get to 0, and there's nothing left. So your job is to replicate this, okay? And I'll give you the HTML. I have no problem with that. But to do this, and I'm going to say this verbally, I'll give you the answer. You need to define what the event is. Okay, so what event am I doing right now that would trigger the functionality that you see? I'm typing on a key, right? So you have to come up with the concept of whether it's on key down or on key up. There's also on key press. So you determine what keystroke I'm doing right now, and you're going to use that event. And you're going to apply that event to, guess what, the text area. Okay? So once you apply that event on key up or on key down, try them both. I want you to try them both to see the difference. Then you'll call a function. Okay, so what will that function have inside of it? Well, that function will have the number of characters that are currently typed. So how do we find the number of characters? Well, it's actually the length. So you take the string of the value of this text area, okay, the string. So it would be, let's say this were comments, the ID equals comments. You would do document get element by ID comments dot value, okay? And when you do that, you would get that value. And all you have to do is subtract 255 minus that current value, and that will give you the number. Now you'll notice in this week's lessons I have a video on get element by ID and get element by inner HTML. You can use inner HTML to populate this sentence right here. Okay? So that's that, but how do we stop it? Well, we're going to have to write a condition. Okay? And if the condition, we can say if the length of the value of the text area, if that length is greater than 245, then we're going to disable the text area. So you would write a disabled property inside that text area. Okay? I'm going to pause this real quick and show you the HTML necessary. Okay, I'm back now. So what you're going to have to do with this HTML is you're going to have to find the event and put it right in here, on key up or on key down. And then you're going to call the function show comment. Your first step will be to comment out what you need to do. You need to get the length of the comments. Okay, so you know it's document get element by ID comments dot length. Okay, the next thing you need to do is find the characters left by subtracting what Twitter wants the length to be. Okay, 255 minus the length, right? Does that make sense? Good. Now you have to write a condition. Condition if we go over 255. Okay? And this is how I kind of solve everything. I have to really write comments out explicitly so I can code what I need to get coded. But I think it's real handy for this class that's very accelerated to get their hands on and write a function that a client might ask you to do. That's super important. So once we do this, we have to disable, either disable, there's two choices. You could disable the field or just make the value equal to the string length to the first 255 characters. Okay, so the videos in this week's materials will show you everything. You can use the videos on Get Element by ID and HTML, and you can use substring for this if you want. And you know if statements now because we've already done them at length. And that's it. And then you can have a nice arrow in your quiver, so to speak, to say that you've done a client request. And as we move forward, I'll slowly remove myself. I won't give you as much help on this kind of thing. And that should make you get better at this. Okay? Any questions, you know where to reach me.